Pennsylvania's efforts to promote business growth are really paying off.
Helping to create and keep 55,000 jobs for Pennsylvanians.
Pennsylvania has one of the strongest economic climates in the nation.
And with lower business taxes, things keep on getting better.
Is Executive Director of the International Airline Pilots Association with us by phone. David, what's your initial read on this?
Actually, Larry, it's the Passengers Association.
Passengers, I'm sorry. What's your initial read?
Well, you know, it's a tough situation to read right away. You know, most professionals in the aviation business don't want to speculate too early about what's going on, but as most of your guests have said, the 737 is an extremely safe airplane and has done extremely well over the years. So it's hard to know. This issue about the airplane falling from the air, that's a very rare occasion, especially smoking. It's just hard to know what happened.
Yeah, and also you got, what, 2 engines going out at once? Because people said they heard no sound of engines.
Yeah, that's very strange. Something's very awkward here. You know, the smoke and the loss of power may indicate some sort of engine explosion or a major engine failure, but you usually wouldn't see that happen in both engines. So,
all right, so that obviously they're talking to the controller who was talking to that plane. They will secure the black box. We eventually will know. But the strange part of this is clear night, no weather, planes landing and taking off all day, no problem, and suddenly gone.
You got it exactly right, Larry. It's just hard to know what happened at this point.
And Brooks Robinson, all of whom was scheduled to be with us tonight to discuss the baseball strike. Naturally, this took preference. With us on the phone is John Nance, pilot, author, airline critic. What do you make of this, John?
This one is a very, very strange accident, Larry, and a couple of things I think are very important here. We have latched on, unfortunately, to a couple of eyewitness accounts, and this is usually very, very misleading at first. A number of folks have said that it looked like these engines or sounded like these engines were running. These are very high bypass engines. When they're throttled back to idle, they don't sound like they're running. Secondly, I have never, and I mean never, seen an airline accident investigation that didn't include at least one eyewitness report that engines were smoking or that the airplane was burning before impact. Something about human nature that does this could be accurate, but it probably is not.
All right, in clear weather, perfect night for flying, do you have an off-the-top-of-the-head guess as a pilot?
Not even a clue, because this is extremely odd. The 737, I think the number 1500 was just rolled out at Boeing the other day. It is a marvelous airplane. I fly it, in fact. It's an airplane that simply does not do things anywhere close to this. And we have a fact here that there was an explosion on the ground, which indicates to me that there was still fuel in the airplane that I have seen in some time.
How about the reports from most everybody of a dive bomb approach?
Well, it's always possible that a pilot could be making a very steep approach to the airport, but having to be indicated in this situation.
Also, he's at 6,000 feet. That's pretty high up, isn't it?
I really question whether or not we lost him at 6,000 feet. I know that report's out there, but I think when we get into the cockpit voice recorder and to the flight recorder, which will be digital on this airplane.
You think it'll show what?
I think it will. I think we'll have a quick answer.
And you think it'll show lower than 6,000?
Well, I think as far as when the airplane got in trouble, it probably will.
John, thanks so much.
Thank you,
we
Larry.
had more time.
Is CNN.
The jet has crashed about 20 miles from Pittsburgh. Witnesses say it is a grim scene, and it appears there are no survivors.
This is CNN World News with Lyndon Souls and Bobby Batista.
Thanks for joining us. Just 6 minutes before a scheduled landing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a USAir flight from Chicago crashed and burned about 6 to 8 miles northwest of the airport. The crash of Flight 427 occurred just after 7 o'clock Eastern Time in Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania. That's in Beaver County, again about 6 to 8 miles northwest of Pittsburgh International Airport. 126 passengers and a Philadelphia-based crew of 6 was aboard the flight from O'Hare Airport, and we are told the county coroner in the area is citing 147 dead. The weather was described as crystal clear, and airline officials tell us there was no indication of any difficulty as the plane made its approach to Pittsburgh International Airport. The crash occurred in a wooded area behind the Green Garden Plaza Shopping Center. There are no reported casualties on the ground.
For those near the crash site in Pennsylvania this evening, it was a frightening and paralyzing scene. Witnesses say the engines cut off just seconds before the crash, and within an instant, the plane just blew up. Here are the observations of some of those near the scene.
What we did was we were in hills, and we heard this big explosion. We saw the plane go down, straight down, and then all we saw was smoke. And we asked, other people, did you see that? And they said there was a big plane, and it just went down. I said, you mean not a little one? But no, it was a really big plane. And so we went up there.
You went to the scene?
Well, everywhere. You could just see just parts of them. And my husband said all he saw, the only total body was like a 3 or 4 year old girl. And he says that's the only one he could recognize as a person. He saw like heart beating and things like that.
Other than the people running to try to see what they could do, you survivors?
No survivors, no.
I was just shocked, and as soon as it went down, I seen a big puff of smoke come up and like sparks of fire and stuff come up. And that's all I really seen. It looked like it went down, started going down from the nose, and then it like evened out, and then it just went down.
What did you hear during this?
I just heard a big boom, like a car backfiring. Just big boom.
I was sitting in our showroom looking out, and I heard a vibration. I says, what in heaven is that?
The people that I talked to at the scene described a horrible scene with body parts hanging in trees and all kinds of the area is so rugged that the crews are unable to get in there tonight. They have scouted the area on foot, but until morning, it's really not going to be possible to go in and begin to secure the actual site.
Did you say that there was an explosion before?
It was a report that the plane exploded and then fell straight down. There was an explosion and then the plane fell straight down. That is an unconfirmed report.
Any idea how passengers, how many might have been in Chicago or Pittsburgh?
No, you're not going to get that until you're going to have to get that from USAir, and I doubt you're going to get that today. USAir has got the family members and survivors. They are isolating them. Allegheny County Mental Retardation Director Charles Peters is with these families. He's brought some mental health professionals to respond and help out. We've had a couple of mental health professionals who were in the airport that also responded, and they were directed. I haven't heard that.
Are they the USAir club?
No, I don't have that report. My indication is that those people will be assembled out of the terminal building in another location.
Pat, did I understand you to say the terrain is so rugged that they probably won't be able to get in here to the plane tonight?
Yes, other than people on foot. They can't, I was told that they can't begin the job of cleaning up because of the terrain in the dark. It's too scattered. It's scattered over a large area. Well, apparently there were some fires along the way. I don't have specific information on the exact nature of the damage and how the plane came apart. It's scattered over a large area is the information I had, and that there were a few brush fires that were put out. Now, what else may have been involved, I don't have any information on that yet. Once Joe Moses gets to the site and has an opportunity to assess it, I may have a better idea as to how we can respond and when.
Earlier you said Beaver County was in control of the response, and that you were...
Beaver County is
still the case?
That is still the case. Beaver County and Hopewell Township are the municipal officials in charge. We have sent Allegheny County has sent every bit of equipment they can. The Delta team has been mustered and they are en route. The site is sealed off and guarded by police. We're scheduling at this time a briefing at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Hopewell Municipal Building to brief media on the events of the day tomorrow.
Can you explain FBI and fingerprinting? What are fingerprinting?
I think that you'll have to figure that out for yourself.
Pat, would a plane approaching the airport in that particular time be approaching from the west and east landing, or would it
would it be en route and come back and make a westerly?
I'm going to have to check. I saw some aircraft landing to the west, but I'm not sure what kind of a flight pattern we're on right now. I'll check and I'll let you know.
Traffic going in or out of the airport at all?
Yeah, the airport still has flights arriving.
Was there a traffic stop for a time?
I don't have that information. I haven't talked to the people in the tower yet.
Are you both certain of the time? You hit people on the scene at 7:25 or so, and you mentioned 7:19 is the time.
Well, 7:19 was the time that I got from a contact at USAir's post. I am not certain of the time. I mean, 7:19 was the time I was given. I'm passing it on to you. I don't have anything specific on that. I don't know.
Can you confirm that the flight base in Philadelphia?
I cannot confirm anything about the flight crew from USAir.
Can you talk a little bit about the area? Who has gone specifically? Who has been into the crash site?
Allegheny County is assisting Hopewell. We've responded with lights, generators, fire trucks. The Delta team has sent several emergency vehicles in. My information is that a few firemen have gone in, and that county maintenance. The flight was. They were talking to the flight at 6,000 feet, about 6 or 7 miles out. They lost radar contact, and that's all they knew at that time. That's pretty much all I have right now. I'm going to go make some more calls, and if I can get back to you in a bit, another half hour or so, if I have any more information.
Is it the case that they're basically...
Pat Boyle, an official with Allegheny County, presumably with the emergency management there, holding a news conference at Pittsburgh International Airport and telling us a little bit more about the circumstances surrounding the crash of USAir Flight 427.
And we'll be back with more coverage right after this. Stay with us.
We dispatched 2 helicopters to that area, and they had medical crew members on board as well, because we initially anticipated there being some survivors. We found the scene very quickly. They were just, you could see smoke for miles around from the disaster area. Our 2 medical helicopters landed at the scene, and our crew was able to tell very early on that there were no survivors because of how horrible the crash scene was.
Joan, there was an eyewitness report that this individual said he thought he had seen one of those medevac helicopters taking an injured person away. That apparently is not the case. No,
that isn't true. That's not the case.
Could you describe the terrain of this area?
It's all a wooded area. It's not real mountainous or hilly, but it was a very wooded area. And it was, the aircraft was apparently on approach to be landing at the international airport, and some malfunction occurred.
And some of the eyewitness accounts that we are seeing are quite gruesome. Is that correct?
That's correct. The area is very wooded, but it's not far from residential areas, shopping areas, business areas, that sort of thing. But the area where the crash occurred was in a wooded area, and it wasn't near any residential area.
Joan was from CNN affiliates in Pittsburgh, primarily among them KDKA. One of the first live reports from the crash site in Beaver County was from KDKA reporter Ralph Ionati. Let's take a look at his report.
The plane went down head first, straight down into a hillside here in Beaver County, not far from the Pittsburgh International Airport. Everyone we spoke who was at the scene